I sit cross-legged on the hardwood floor of my parents' living room in Denver, surrounded by crumpled wrapping paper and the sharp, artificial scent of pine from the Christmas tree. My sister Lydia spins in place, laughing, her manicured fingers dangling a set of gleaming BMW keys. The metal catches the glow of the lights as she twirls like she's 16, not 32. I can't believe this. She squeals. My own BMW. My father grins at her like he's just handed her the world. My mother presses her hands together under her chin, eyes shining like she's witnessing something sacred. Outside the window, I can see it, the car, white, polished, wrapped in a giant red bow that probably cost more than everything they've ever given me combined. And then there's me. I look down at what's sitting in my lap. A cheap plastic piggy bank shaped like a cartoon animal from a show I stopped watching decades ago. The sticker is still on it. $1.99. Go on. Open it, my mother says, smiling expectantly. My fingers feel numb as I pull the rubber stopper from the bottom. 2 single-dollar bills fall into my palm. That's the start of your future home fund, sweetheart, my father says casually, waving his hand like it's nothing. You've always been the responsible one, not like some people. He shoots Lydia a teasing wink. She giggles, pretending to be offended. The silence that follows stretches tight and thin. Well, my mother quickly adds, Lydia needs a reliable car for her design clients. Image matters in her field. Lydia drops down beside me, her expensive perfume suffocating the air around us. Don't worry, Corinna, she says sweetly, patting my knee. I'll drive you anywhere you need. I stare at her. My car's fine, I say quietly. My Toyota, 7 years old, paid off with my own money. The one that carried me through mountain passes just yesterday. The one that never failed me. Unlike this family, I can't breathe. 34 years of moments just like this rush through my mind all at once. Not one big betrayal, just a lifetime of small ones, stacked carefully on top of each other. This isn't new. This is my life. Just this morning, I handed them their gifts. A leather briefcase for my dad, 2 weeks' salary. A silver bracelet my mom had admired months ago in a boutique. A professional camera lens Lydia casually mentioned wanting. I bought all of it by saving little pieces of myself over time. And the whole drive here from Salt Lake City, I practiced what I was going to say. Senior structural engineer. The promotion I earned. The late nights. The weekends. The buildings I designed that would stand long after I'm gone. I imagine them being proud of me. Seeing me. Maybe this Christmas would be different. Maybe. Finally. I would matter. Before continuing, please take a few seconds to subscribe to the channel. But only if my story makes you laugh out loud or cry. I'm also curious to know where you live and what time it is. Leave a comment, and I'll read it all. The next part of the story uses some fictional elements and AI tools for educational and emotional purposes. Thank you for listening, but if today isn't the right time, the story is still here, waiting for you to come back. My hands tremble as I place the piggy bank on the coffee table. The plastic hits the glass table with a hollow, almost embarrassing sound. Excuse me, I manage. Though my voice doesn't feel like mine. Bathroom. I stand up carefully. Not too fast. Not dramatic. Just controlled enough to keep everything from breaking in front of them. I walk up the stairs I've known my entire life. Past the wall of family photos where Lydia's smile dominates every frame. Birthday parties, vacations, achievements. My face appears here and there, like an afterthought someone forgot to crop out. I close the bathroom door behind me and lock it. For a moment, I just stand there. Then I look up. My reflection stares back at me. Calm, too calm. My eyes are dry, my face composed. like I'm watching someone else's life happen instead of living it. I place both palms against the cold marble counter and wait for the tears. They don't come. Instead, something else builds inside my chest. Heavy, tight, like concrete slowly hardening around my lungs. People always talk about heartbreak like it's poetic, like it's something soft and distant. It's not. It's physical. I feel it in every part of me. My heart doesn't ache. It contracts. Painfully. Like it's struggling to keep going. My chest tightens until breathing feels like work. My sternum throbs. Like someone is pressing weight directly onto it. This is what it feels like to disappear. I think. Not dramatic. Just less. That night stretches endlessly. I lie awake in my old bedroom, staring at the ceiling, listening to laughter drifting up from downstairs. Lydia's voice, bright and carefree. My parents joining in as they plan her first road trip in the new car. Destinations, hotels, scenic routes, like I'm not even in the house. At 2:17 a.m., I sit up. The decision doesn't feel sudden. It feels overdue. I pack quickly, but carefully. Only what matters. The worn stuffed bear my grandmother gave me when I was 6. The college photo album I built on my own. A small wooden box holding my very first structural blueprint. The one that got me my first job. Everything else stays. All the expensive gifts I ever gave them. The effort, the time, the quiet hope. None of it was ever returned anyway. The house is silent when I carry my suitcase downstairs. For a second. I stand in the kitchen, the same kitchen where I learned to make my own meals because no one noticed when I didn't eat. The same counter where I once did homework alone, while they celebrated Lydia's smallest wins. My house key rests in my palm, cold and familiar. I place it gently next to the coffee maker. They've already made their choice. Now I'm making mine. Outside. The air bites immediately. My breath fogs as I load my suitcase into the trunk of my car. The street is empty, wrapped in that eerie stillness only Christmas morning has. By the time I pull onto the highway, the dashboard clock reads 3:42 a.m. Snow begins to fall harder, thick flakes hitting the windshield as the wipers struggle to keep up. The radio hums softly until a familiar voice fills the car. Bing Crosby singing about white Christmases. I let it play for a moment. Then I reach over and turn it off. Silence. Just the sound of tires cutting through snow and the faint hum of the engine that has never once let me down. Have yourself a merry little Christmas, I whisper to the empty passenger seat. My voice cracks on the word merry. The irony burns all the way down. The highway stretches endlessly ahead of me as I pass through the southern edges of the city. My Toyota hums steadily beneath me, the heater struggling against the biting December cold. 7 years old. Over 200,000 miles. This car carried me through college, through my first job, through every promotion I earned on my own. It never once complained. Unlike the gleaming BMW sitting in my parents' driveway with that ridiculous red bow, this car earned its place in my life, around 6. My phone vibrates against the center console. I glance down. Mom. For a split second. Something in me hopes. Are you safe? Come back. Please. But when I answer, her voice cuts through flat and practical. Did you remember to pay the electric bill for the cabin before you left Salt Lake? That cabin? The one they bought for weekend getaways? The one Lydia uses for curated photos and filtered sunsets? I don't answer. The line goes quiet. Then she hangs up. A semi-truck roars past me, spraying slush across my windshield, for 3 long seconds. I can't see anything. Just white chaos. My hands tighten around the wheel as the wipers fight to clear it. When my vision returns, the memories come with it, faster than I can stop them. My 5th birthday, Lydia's party the year before had ponies, professional decorations, and a 3-tier castle cake. 30 kids, costumes, laughter. My turn came with a grocery store sheet cake, 2 classmates, and paper decorations from a discount bin. Your sister needs the social stimulation, my father had said when I asked why. You're more independent. Independent. Their word for you don't need us. The road stretches on. High school graduation flashes into my mind next. Valedictorian. I remember standing at the podium, my speech carefully written, hands steady, voice clear. I remember the empty seats where my family should have been. Lydia had a soccer game that day. We'll watch the recording. My mom promised. The DVD sat unopened on my dresser until I moved out. Your sister needs encouragement, she said later. You always do fine without us. Without us. Their way of saying you're on your own. The miles tick by as I drive south. The sky slowly beginning to lighten. College memories bleed into everything else. Working 25 hours a week between the bookstore and cafeteria, taking extra classes just to graduate early and save money, stretching scholarships, stretching myself, while Lydia traveled across Europe, finding herself on my parents' dime. Your sister needs to explore. My father told me during one of our rare phone calls, you've always known who you are, known who I am. Their way of saying you don't deserve more. My phone buzzes again. Dad. I let it ring until it stops. The first light of dawn creeps over the horizon, turning the sky pale gold. The headlights of oncoming cars blur through the tears I didn't realize had started falling. I pull over onto the shoulder, hazard lights blinking. For a moment, I just sit there. Then I lean forward, pressing my forehead against the steering wheel, my breath uneven, shallow, and suddenly, it all makes sense. Every moment, every excuse, every justification. It wasn't random. It was a system. My father controlled the money, deciding where it went, making sure Lydia always had more. My mother controlled everything else, shaping the narrative, making me feel selfish for even noticing. Together, they built something seamless, a life where one daughter was chosen and the other learned to survive without ever being chosen at all. My mother handled the emotions the way my father handled the money, quietly, consistently, making sure I felt guilty for even wanting a fraction of what Lydia received so freely. It was a perfect system. One controlled the resources, the other controlled how I felt about not having them. My phone rings again. I glance at the screen, expecting another call from home. It isn't. Corinna. Where are you? The sound of Nina Alvarez's voice fills the car, warm and immediate, cutting through everything else. My college roommate, the one person who never needed explanations to understand what was happening, driving. I say, my voice sounds distant, like it's coming from somewhere outside of me. Heading south. South to where I stare at the road ahead. Endless. Blank. I don't know. There's a pause on the line. Not awkward. Just thinking. Then she says it. Come to San Diego. Stay with me. I swallow, my grip tightening on the wheel. You don't have to do this. Yes. I do, she replies. Her tone firm now. Because this isn't normal. Corinna, family doesn't treat you like this. She knows. She saw it all back in college. The packages I got were always practical. Socks, notebooks, things I needed, while Lydia received designer clothes, expensive gadgets, things chosen with care. She saw the holidays I spent alone in the dorms because flights were too expensive. The same years my parents flew Lydia to ski resorts and beach resorts without hesitation. I can't impose. I whisper. Stop. Her voice sharpens just enough to cut through me. You've spent your entire life being the one who shows up for everyone else. Let someone show up for you. Something shifts inside me. Help. Such a simple word. And yet it feels unfamiliar. Like something I was never meant to receive. In my family. Help only moved in one direction. Toward Lydia. Toward my parents. Never toward me. Okay. I say quietly. Surprising myself. Good. Text me your location every hour. Drive safe. I'll get the guest room ready. The call ends. But her presence lingers. I pull back onto the highway. The snow keeps falling. But it doesn't feel as suffocating anymore. For the first time since I left. My shoulders loosen slightly. Like my body is finally starting to believe I'm not going back. By 7:30 am, I cross the California state line. The sign gleams in the early sunlight. Welcome to California. My phone lights up again. 17 missed calls. 32 messages. All from my parents and Lydia. I don't read them. I turn off their notifications one by one. The silence that follows is heavy, but not painful. Just quiet. My stomach growls, reminding me I haven't eaten since last night. A small diner appears up ahead, its neon sign flickering open like an invitation. I pull in. Inside, warmth wraps around me immediately. The smell of coffee, grease, and something familiar fills the air. It feels grounding in a way I didn't expect. I slide into a booth near the window. A waitress approaches, older, silver streaks in her hair, already pouring coffee into my cup before I say a word. Rough night, she asks. I let out a small breath. Rough life. The words sound dramatic the second they leave my mouth, and I almost take them back. But she doesn't react like I expect. She just nods. Honey, I've been doing this a long time. I know heartbreak when I see it. She tilts her head slightly. Family or boyfriend family? She sets the pot down and slides a menu toward me. Blood makes you related. She says gently, love and respect make you family. Her hand rests briefly over mine before she steps away. I sit there, staring at the steam rising from my coffee. Her words echo in my mind. For 34 years, I've been related to my family. Maybe it's time I learn what it feels like to actually belong somewhere. 3 weeks later, I wake up in a quiet room in Nina's apartment in San Diego. My phone vibrates on the nightstand. Again. I don't even have to look to know who it is. My phone lights up again. Dad. I let it ring while I count slowly in my head. 1, 2, 3, until 10. Then I silence it, adding another missed call to the growing pile of voicemails I have no intention of ever listening to again. The first week, they sounded confused. The second week, concerned. Now, in week 3, the tone has shifted into something colder, sharper, control disguised as concern. I tap one message open. Corinna Blake. My father's voice fills the room, loud and heavy with authority. If you don't return that car immediately, I will report it stolen. This has gone on long enough. I let out a hollow breath. The car. My car. The one with my name on the title. The one I spent 7 years paying off. Receipt by receipt. I press a pillow against my stomach, trying to steady the rising burn in my chest. Another message plays automatically. My mother. The doctor says my blood pressure is dangerously high because of the stress you're causing, she says, her voice trembling just enough to sound convincing. Is that what you want? For me to end up in the hospital because you're being selfish? My thumb hovers over the screen. For a second. I almost respond. Then I delete both messages. Silence returns. Heavier this time. The room around me feels unfamiliar and safe at the same time. Nina's spare bedroom is simple, but warm. The walls are painted a soft terracotta that catches the morning light in a way my apartment back in Salt Lake never did. On the dresser, my laptop sits open. An email draft. Version 14. I read it one more time. Dear Mr. Harrison, I'm writing to formally request a transfer to the San Diego office, effective immediately. My finger hovers over the trackpad, then I click send before I can talk myself out of it. No family connections, no favors, just my work, my experience, my value. 3 hours later, the reply arrives. Approved. Just like that, as if I had always been capable of choosing my own direction. You got it, didn't you? I look up to see Nina leaning against the doorframe, reading my expression before I even speak. Her dark curls frame a face that's genuinely happy for me, not proud in a way that takes ownership, not impressed in a way that compares, just happy. I start Monday, I say. She breaks into a grin. Already called a friend of mine. She manages apartments downtown. Safe building. Good price. 15 minutes from your office. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to, she replies, stepping into the room and sitting beside me. That's how this works. Friends help friends. No conditions. No conditions. No invisible debts. No quiet expectations. The words hit deeper than I expect. For a moment, I can feel everything I've been holding back these past 3 weeks pushing against the surface. I also booked you something else, she adds, sliding a small card onto my laptop. I glance down. Dr. Elaine Mercer, Ph.D., Family Therapy. I'm not crazy, I say quietly. I know. Nina answers just as softly. But you've been carrying something heavy for a very long time. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. Tuesday afternoon. I sit in a quiet office that smells faintly of lemon polish and old paper. Dr. Mercer doesn't rush me. She doesn't interrupt. She just waits. The silence stretches until I finally feel it. Favoritism. The word feels strange in my mouth. Like something I should have said years ago but never did. My entire life. I add. And how did that make you feel? She asks gently. I stare at my hands. Like I was worth $2. The truth lands between us. Simple and undeniable. Later that week, I sign the lease for a small apartment. Barely 600 square feet. A narrow kitchen, empty walls. But the windows face west, and, in the late afternoon, sunlight spills across the floor like it belongs there, like I belong there. By nightfall, it's mine. I buy a futon, a lamp, and a small desk. Nothing else. The emptiness doesn't feel like lack. It feels like space. Space to decide who I am without anyone else defining it for me. The following Saturday, Nina drags me out of the apartment. Pottery class. She announces, I don't need pottery, I protest. You need something that isn't work or survival, she replies, handing me an apron. I hesitate. Then I sit down. My hands sink into cool clay, soft and resistant at the same time. It shifts under my fingers, responding to pressure, reshaping itself slowly, for the first time in a long time. I'm not fixing something. I'm creating something. And it feels unfamiliar, but right. The instructor stands behind me, her silver hair pulled into a loose knot, paint splattered across her overalls like quiet evidence of years spent creating. Don't force it, she says softly. Listen to what it wants to become. I hesitate, then let my hands relax. The clay shifts under my fingers. Not perfectly, not evenly, but honestly. My hands tremble as I shape something from nothing, unsure but present in a way I haven't been in a long time. By the end of the class, I'm staring at a small bowl with uneven edges. It's imperfect, a little crooked, and completely mine. 4 weeks after Christmas. My phone lights up with a video call. I let it ring twice before answering on the third. I steady myself before their faces appear on the screen. "Where have you been?" my father demands immediately. His face fills the frame, flushed with anger. "Your mother has been worried sick." Behind him. My mother dabs at her eyes, though I notice there are no actual tears. "San Diego," I reply calmly. "I transferred offices." "You did what my mother cuts in?" Pushing closer to the camera. "Without even discussing it with us? How could you be so inconsiderate?" The old instinct rises in my chest. Apologize. Fix it. Make it right. But another voice echoes louder now. "Your feelings are valid. Their reactions belong to them." "I needed space," I say instead. "Space from what my father snaps. From your family. From responsibility. From acting like an adult. From feeling invisible." I answer. The words surprise even me with how steady they sound. From being valued less than Lydia. From trying to earn something that should have been given freely. My mother's expression shifts instantly. Tears spill over now. Right on cue. "How can you say something like that?" she cries. "We've always loved you both the same." I shake my head slowly. "I'm not responsible for your feelings anymore," I tell her. The sentence feels heavy, like something I've been holding in my mouth for years. I'm responsible for mine. My father slams his hand down out of frame. "This conversation is over until you're ready to apologize. Then I guess we're done talking." I end the call. The silence afterward is different from before. Not empty. Clear. In the days that follow, the story spreads without me. Messages come in from old colleagues, distant relatives, people who never once asked me how I was doing before, according to them. I've had a breakdown, I'm unstable, I've cut myself off from reality. Lydia's social media fills with carefully filtered photos, captions about heartbreak, about family, about praying for those who are struggling. She never uses my name. She doesn't have to. At work, none of that exists. My new colleagues see only what's in front of them, my designs, my calculations, the work I've spent years mastering. 10 days later, Lydia shows up at the office unannounced. Nina happens to be there, dropping off lunch. She's in a meeting. Nina tells her calmly. "For how long?" Lydia asks. Nina smiles slightly. "As long as it takes." Lydia leaves without seeing me. Wednesday evenings become something I don't dread. A small group meets in a quiet basement that smells like coffee and old books. 8 people sitting in a circle, each carrying their own version of what I've lived. Family doesn't get a free pass just because they're family. One man says one night, his name is Daniel. He hasn't spoken to his brother in 20 years. Love without respect isn't love, it's control. The words settle into me slowly. 6 months after that Christmas. My apartment no longer feels temporary. The windowsills are lined with pottery, each piece a little more refined than the last. The futon is gone, replaced by a real bed. My work has grown, too. The promotion to senior project manager came with a raise that finally quieted the constant background noise of financial stress. On my bookshelf sits the plastic piggy bank. I filled it with crisp $2 bills. One for every week I chose myself. Not as punishment. As a reminder. Sometimes the smallest moments reveal the biggest truths. The holiday season approaches again. And, for the first time, I don't feel the need to perform. There are no gifts to carefully calculate. No expectations to meet. No quiet shrinking to make space for someone else. Just me. in a space I built, learning, slowly, what it means to value myself. A month later, an envelope arrives. Ivory, thick paper. It sits on my kitchen counter for 3 days before I touch it. When I finally open it, I see the name written in elegant script. Corinna Blake. No +1. Just me. I chose to walk away, to stop answering their calls, and to finally put my own worth above their expectations. If you think I did the right thing by setting those boundaries and choosing myself, let me know. Drop a 1 in the comments if you would have done the same. Expected to return quietly, alone, as if nothing had happened. I sit across from Dr. Mercer, tracing the edge of the chair with my fingers, grounding myself in the small, steady details. So what are you thinking? She asks gently, leaning forward. I'm going, I say. Her eyebrows lift slightly. That's different from last week. On my terms. I add quickly. I booked a hotel, 4 blocks from the venue, and your parents. My dad called twice. He wanted me to stay at their rental house with everyone. And what did you say? Nothing. A small smile slips through. Not out of spite, but something quieter. Satisfaction. Letting the silence speak for me. Letting his calls go unanswered as the boundary itself became the answer. 7 months. 7 months since that night I drove away. 7 months of rebuilding piece by piece. Therapy sessions, pottery classes, evenings where the quiet didn't feel lonely anymore. My phone buzzes against my leg. Lydia. Her 3rd message today. Can't wait to see you next weekend. We need sister time before the wedding chaos. I slide the phone back into my bag without replying. Doctor? Mercer notices. Your sister again. Suddenly. We're inseparable, I say, letting out a soft, almost humorless laugh. She never texted this much when we lived in the same city. What do you think she wants? I don't hesitate. Help. Money. A ride. The version of me who carried everything for her. My fingers brush against the fabric folded in my lap. Midnight blue silk. The dress I had made for this weekend, tailored perfectly, designed to fit me as I am now. Not smaller, not quieter, not apologetic. They've been reaching out. I continue. Extended family. My uncle called about sticking together. My aunt sent a long message about forgiveness. Even my cousin's fiancé reached out. They're coordinating. Doctor. Mercer says. I nod. And how does that make you feel? I pause. Before, I would have said I'm fine. Always fine. Now I listen to what my body is telling me. My chest feels tight. I admit, my hands won't stay still. I feel scared. I meet her eyes, but I'm also ready. That night. I sit at my kitchen table, staring at the seating chart my cousin accidentally included in a group email. There it is. My name, placed neatly between my parents, directly across from Lydia. Like nothing ever happened, like everything can be reset with a chair and a table. I pick up my phone. Hi, Vanessa. It's Corinna. I need to make a small change to the seating. Friday arrives wrapped in fog that slowly burns away as my flight lifts into the sky. Somewhere over Oregon. The clouds part. The land below comes into view. Familiar. Too familiar. My heartbeat picks up as the plane begins its descent, by the time I step out onto the sidewalk in front of the rehearsal dinner venue. The sky is glowing with that soft golden light just before nightfall. I reach up, brushing my fingers against the smooth stone pendant Nina gave me. Strength isn't about not feeling fear. She had told me, it's about feeling it and moving forward anyway. I take a breath, then I push the door open. The room quiets instantly. Conversations pause mid-sentence. Heads turn. My mother's hand rises to her throat. My father freezes, his glass hovering halfway to his lips. I can see it in their faces. I'm not the same person who left that night. The woman who walked out at 2 a.m. was barely holding herself together. This version of me doesn't look like she's about to disappear. This version of me doesn't look like she's asking for permission anymore. This version of me stands differently. Tailored black pants, an emerald silk blouse that catches the light with every movement. Heels that don't just touch the floor. They announce my presence with quiet certainty. The diamond studs in my ears reflect the warm glow of the room as I take everything in without rushing toward anyone. I don't shrink. I don't hesitate. I simply stand. Lydia is the first to approach, her arms already opening as if nothing has changed. But something has. The designer watch she used to flaunt is gone. The highlights in her hair have grown out unevenly. Her smile looks forced now. Stretched thin instead of effortless. "You look amazing," she says, pulling me into a quick hug. "Thank you," I reply, stepping back before she can linger too long. I let a small pause settle between us. "How's the BMW?" Her eyes flick away. "I had to trade it in," she says quickly. "Got something more practical." "Of course," over her shoulder. I spot my parents standing close together with Aunt Carol. My mother presses a napkin to her eyes. My father's posture is different. Smaller somehow. Less certain. "Thank God you're here," a voice whispers beside me. I turn to see my cousin Rachel holding a drink. Leaning in conspiratorially. "You have no idea what's been happening since Christmas," she says. "Your parents are selling the house." I blink. "What medical bills?" "They say," she continues, lowering her voice. "But everyone knows they've been supporting Lydia for years." It finally caught up. A server passes by with champagne. I take a glass, watching the bubbles rise to the surface before disappearing. Just like everything else. Things rise, then they burst. "Corinna." I turn as my uncle steps forward, clasping my hand warmly. "You look different. In a good way." I moved. New position. I say, "Senior Project Manager." The title still feels new in my mouth. His eyebrows lift. That's incredible. More relatives gather slowly, like they're orbiting something they're just now noticing for the first time. Cousin Daniel admits quietly that he always saw the difference in how I was treated. Aunt Carol hugs me a little too tightly and whispers that my father lost his job months ago, that my mother has been struggling more than anyone admits. I listen, but it feels distant, like watching waves crash against a shore I no longer stand on. My father finds me during cocktail hour. The smell of bourbon reaches me before his words do. Family sticks together. "Corinna," he says, his voice still carrying that old authority, though something underneath it has weakened. I meet his eyes. "Does it?" I ask calmly. "Or do some people get carried while others are expected to carry everything?" His jaw tightens. "We've always supported you." I tilt my head slightly. "With what? $2 in a piggy bank?" The words land quietly, but they don't need to be loud. He opens his mouth, then closes it again. For once, he has nothing to say. He walks away. In the restroom. I stand at the sink, washing my hands, when my mother appears beside me. Her eyes are wet. This time, not entirely performative. "We miss you so much," she says, reaching for my hand. I keep mine under the running water. "I miss who I thought you were." I answer softly. The words hang there, heavier than anything else I could have said. Back in the main room. Lydia finds me again and gently pulls me toward the terrace. The air outside is cool, carrying the faint scent of flowers from the garden below. The BMW got repossessed. She blurts out suddenly. I look at her. "I'm drowning," she continues. her voice cracking. Clients disappeared. Dad can't help anymore. I don't know how to do this. For a moment. Neither of us speaks. 7 months ago, I would have already been fixing this. Offering money. Making a plan. Taking responsibility for something that was never mine. That version of me would have stepped in without hesitation, but she doesn't exist anymore. I place my hand gently on Lydia's arm. That sounds really hard, I say quietly. And I mean it, but I don't offer more than that. That sounds really hard. Lydia, I say quietly. And I mean it, for the first time in my life. I feel compassion without that immediate pull to fix everything. It took months to learn that difference, to understand that caring about someone doesn't mean carrying them. I'm sorry you're going through that. Her eyes widen slightly, like she's waiting for the rest, the solution, the rescue. It doesn't come. I can help you make a budget. I add gently, but I can't solve this for you. The words settle between us, unfamiliar and uncomfortable, over her shoulder. I see my cousin Vanessa glowing in the center of the room, surrounded by bridesmaids and laughter that feels untouched by any of this. Tomorrow will come with its own weight, but tonight, standing here with the cool air brushing against my skin, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time. Light. The expectations that once clung to me slip away like water. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not the person who stayed and endured. I'm the person who left. The person who built something new from nothing. And whatever comes next, I'll meet it standing on ground I chose for myself. The next morning, sunlight pours through tall windows in the bridal suite, soft and golden, illuminating everything in a calm that feels almost unreal. I stand near the mirror, watching Vanessa transform from nervous to radiant as the final touches come together. Corinna, Aunt Carol whispers, stepping close and placing a gentle hand on my arm. Your parents are looking for you. I don't turn right away. They're in the library, she adds. They said it's important. Of course they did. I knew this moment would come. 7 months since I walked out of that house. 7 months since I chose myself. Thanks, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. I'll find them. Soon. She adds softly. I nod, then help Vanessa adjust her veil, smoothing it into place with careful hands. 30 minutes later. I stand outside the library door. It feels heavier than it should. I push it open. My mother is already seated, posture rigid, tissues clutched tightly in her hand. My father paces near the fireplace, his movements sharp, restless. Lydia stands by the window, dressed impeccably, as if nothing about her situation has changed. Corinna, thank God, my mother says, standing quickly. We need to talk. As a family. I stay near the door. The ceremony starts in 40 minutes. I reply. Sit down, my father says, gesturing to the chair positioned directly across from them. It's arranged too perfectly. A setup. This can't wait. I close the door behind me but don't move toward the chair. I'm listening. Lydia steps forward first. This has gone too far. She says, Dad lost his job 3 months ago. The company downsized. Budget cuts. My father adds quickly. Mom's been seeing someone. Lydia continues. For depression. My mother presses the tissue to her eyes again. We're selling the house. The words hang there. Financial pressure, health concerns, guilt, all wrapped together, placed neatly at my feet. 7 months ago. I would have folded under this, apologized, offered help, taken responsibility for something that was never mine. Now, I walk to the chair, set my purse down beside it, and sit, calm, straight-backed. I'm sorry about your job, I say to my father, and Mom. I'm glad you're getting support. They stare at me, confused. Did you even hear what we said? Lydia's voice sharpens. We're selling the house because of you. No, I say evenly. You're selling the house because of choices you made long before I left. I reach into my bag and pull out a leather-bound album. I brought something. We don't have time for this. My mother snaps. You called this meeting. I reply, opening it on my lap. So we do. The first page shows 2 photos side by side. Lydia's birthday. A castle-themed party with decorations. Entertainers. Everything. Mine. The same year. A small cake on the kitchen table. Do you remember these? I ask quietly. No one answers. I turn the page. Christmas mornings. Graduation days. Family trips. Pattern after pattern. Clear. Undeniable. For the first time. It's all laid out where no one can pretend not to see it anymore. I spent months putting it all together. Every memory I couldn't explain. Every moment that felt wrong but was dismissed, minimized, or turned back on me. Now it's here, in front of them. My father's face flushes red. This is ridiculous. He snaps. We treated you both the same. I don't argue. I reach into my bag and pull out a folder, placing it gently on top of the album. My student loans. I say, $67,000. Still paying them off? I slide another document forward. Lydia's education, fully covered, including a year in Europe. Lydia shifts where she stands. That's not fair. She says quickly, you chose engineering. That was your decision. It was my passion. I correct her. My voice steady. Just like art was yours. I hold her gaze. The difference is, mine wasn't worth investing in. My mother stands abruptly, her hands trembling. We didn't have the money back then. She says, things were different by the time Lydia went to college. I shake my head slowly. I looked into everything years ago. I say quietly, Dad got promoted when I was 16. Grandma's inheritance came before I started college. Silence fills the room. You had the money. I continue. You just chose not to spend it on me. No one speaks. I reach into my bag again and pull out a stack of birthday cards, spreading them carefully across the table. 30 years of them. Read them. I say. Lydia's cards overflow with affection, love poured out in every word. Mine are different. Practical. Short. Work hard. Be responsible. Keep going. We always knew you'd be fine, my father says finally. His voice quieter now. There it is. The truth. Simple. Unfiltered. I nod once. Being capable doesn't mean I deserved less love. My voice doesn't shake, even though I can feel the heat building behind my eyes. Being responsible doesn't mean I should have carried everything alone. My mother sinks back into her chair, tears falling now without control. We never meant to hurt you, she whispers. Intent doesn't change what happened. I reply. I reach into my bag one last time and place the plastic piggy bank on the table between us. The same one. My father stares at it. What is this? I pull the stopper from the bottom. Dozens of crisp $2 bills spill out, spreading across the surface. I saved one for every week since I left. I say. They stare at the money. At the symbol. This isn't about the money. I continue. It's about what you thought I was worth. Lydia picks up one of the bills, turning it over slowly in her fingers. I never saw it like this, she admits quietly. They never taught me how to stand on my own. Outside the door, voices pass by, laughter, movement, life continuing as if nothing inside this room is breaking apart and rebuilding at the same time. Soon, everyone will gather to celebrate love, and here we are, finally facing the absence of it. I stand. I'm not here for apologies. I say, I'm here for change. They look up at me. I'll consider rebuilding this relationship under two conditions: therapy and respect for my boundaries. My father opens his mouth, ready to argue. But my mother reaches out, placing her hand over his. We'll do it, she says. He stops. She looks at me, her expression different now. Whatever it takes. I gather my things, sliding the album and folder back into my bag. I leave the money where it is. That stays. I say, a reminder. I turn toward the door, my hand resting on the handle for a moment. I have somewhere to be. I add. My friend Nina is saving me a seat. I open the door and step out into the hallway, my back straight, my chest lighter than it has been in years. Behind me, I hear Lydia's voice, softer than I've ever heard it. She's different now. I don't turn around. She's right. The version of me who walked out that Christmas morning with nothing but quiet pain and determination no longer exists. In her place stands someone who understands something I spent my entire life trying to earn. My worth was never something they got to decide. It's something I decide by what I refuse to accept. Sunlight spills across the hardwood floors of my apartment in San Diego, warm and steady, filling a space that finally feels like mine. Around the table, people I chose laugh easily, their voices overlapping in a way that feels natural instead of forced. The smell of rosemary and sage drifts from the kitchen, mixing with the sound of real laughter, not the careful kind, not the kind that hides tension underneath. Real. To Corinna, Nina says, lifting her glass. The light catches in her dark curls as she smiles at me. The only person I know who can build structures that last, and a life that actually feels like one. My cheeks warm, not from embarrassment, but from something unfamiliar. Being seen. 1 year ago today, I say softly, I left everything I knew behind. I glance around the room, and now, this. A table filled with people who want to be here, shelves lined with pottery I made with my own hands, a life that doesn't ask me to shrink, and to Senior Project Manager Blake. Ethan adds from beside me, his hand brushing mine under the table in a way that still catches me off guard. It's not overwhelming, not chaotic, just steady. Whose team finished the Harbor Tower project ahead of schedule? I smile, shaking my head slightly. Ethan understands structure in more ways than one. In his work, in how he shows up, in how he builds things that last. Including this. 6 months ago, when he asked me out for coffee. I almost said no. Old habits don't disappear overnight. Dr. Mercer called it progress when I said yes. The kitchen timer chimes, pulling me back to the present. Need help, Ethan asks, following me into the kitchen. I've got it, I reply automatically. Then I pause. I catch myself. Accepting help doesn't make you weak. Actually, I glance at him, a small smile forming. Can you carve the turkey? I've never learned how. He grins. I'd be honored. My phone vibrates on the counter. I glance down. Lydia. We talk once a month now. A boundary. One we both agreed to after everything that happened at the wedding. I hesitate for a moment. Then I answer. I answer the call while Ethan moves behind me, focused on carving the turkey. Merry Christmas, Lydia says. Her face fills the screen, softer than I remember. Behind her. Her apartment is simple, smaller, no designer furniture, no luxury anything. Just real. You look happy, she adds quietly. Your place. It looks like a home. It is. I say. I turn the camera slightly, showing the spare room I turned into a small studio. Shelves lined with bowls and vases, Pieces that started as nothing and slowly became something, just like me. How are Mom and Dad, I ask. She hesitates, then adjusts the camera. Dad's 90 days sober. She says, he wanted you to know. The screen shifts, and I see him sitting in a modest living room. Smaller somehow. Quieter. Not the man who used to fill every space with certainty. The meetings are helping. Lydia continues. He's different. I nod, not trusting myself to say more than that. And Mom, I ask. She's volunteering at the community center. Lydia says, she wanted to join, but something came up. There's a pause. They ask about you. She adds, not like before. We talk for a few more minutes. Nothing heavy. Nothing forced. Then we say goodbye. By the time I set my phone down, the room behind me is full again. Conversations overlap. Laughter rises and falls naturally. Nina, Ethan, and a few friends from work and class fill the space with something I used to think I had to earn. Belonging. No one mentions the piggy bank sitting on the mantel, now filled with dollar bills, not reminders of pain, reminders of lessons. After dinner, after dessert, after the last plates are cleared. My phone buzzes again. A message from Lydia. A photo. A small clay ornament. Uneven. A little rough, but unmistakably made with care. Sending it tomorrow. She writes. I smile. Then another message appears. From my mother. Found this while cleaning. It always belonged to you. I open the attachment. My old dollhouse. The one thing I loved as a child. The one thing that felt like mine. Beneath the photo is a document. Ownership transfer. Official. I stare at it for a moment. Something quiet settling inside me. Later that night, after everyone has gone, after the dishes are done, I step out onto the balcony. The city stretches in front of me. Lights reflecting off the water in the distance. Buildings rise against the night sky. Some of them ones I helped design. I rest my hands on the railing. Worth isn't something you earn by being useful, I say softly, more to myself than anything else. It's something you claim, by deciding what you will and won't accept. Ethan steps out behind me, draping a blanket gently over my shoulders. Deep thoughts, he asks. I lean into him slightly, letting the warmth settle around me. Just grateful. I answer, and I mean it. Sometimes the greatest gift, I add quietly, is realizing what you don't have to accept anymore. Inside, through the window. The piggy bank sits on the shelf. Not as a symbol of what I lost, but of what I finally found. I learned that being strong doesn't mean accepting less than you deserve. And being the responsible one should never cost you love. Sometimes, the hardest but most necessary choice is to walk away and rebuild your life on your own terms. It's not about revenge. It's about reclaiming your value and deciding what you will no longer tolerate. If you were in my place, would you have stayed or chosen yourself like I did? Did you listen all the way to the end? Thank you for being here with me. And if this story made you pause, think, or feel something real, consider subscribing, leaving a comment, or sharing this video. One small action from you could help this story reach someone who is still struggling, someone who needs the courage to choose themselves today.